Hey everybody, it's Cindy here, and happy February to you. And this year we are being blessed with the Olympics. I love the Olympics. I feel like the whole world comes together in kind of a wonderful way. And if even for a brief moment in time, maybe we realize that we're more alike than different, and that the ways that we're different are kind of cool and special and everything. But anyway, I'm already getting off track already in the first minute. Uh, but it got me thinking about all those athletes and the mindset that they need to get themselves to the Olympics and to even have the determination to go through a lifetime of practice and dedication and focus to get to this point that they get to the Olympics, let alone those who get into the qualifying rounds, and then the very few of all the athletes in the world, the very, very few who end up actually getting medals. And so I thought about that, and I thought, I wonder what it's like to have a champion mindset. And how can we apply that to our lives and go for the gold in our lives in whatever areas we want or whatever we think our gold is in life? Maybe for you, gold is finding love. Maybe it's making a certain amount of money. Maybe it's owning a certain something you've always wanted. Maybe it's learning a skill you've always wanted to learn, or traveling somewhere you've always wanted to go. Or maybe it's a whole bunch of things. Maybe it's having children and raising them, or raising puppies, having your own business, whatever. Doesn't matter what it is. Today we're going to talk about how to use our minds like the champions use their minds to create the life that they want. So one of the things is that they are very specific about what they're going for, right? They're going for the gold, right? That's what they're going for. They're going for certain timing, certain perfection of certain techniques, and they want to get medals, right? So knowing what you want very specifically, and I've said this a lot lately, so I'm sorry if you're getting bored with that thought, but it's so critical that we have in our mind exactly what we want, right? So, because then we can actually go for it and know and recognize it when it shows up. So again, be very specific, and then they are laser focused. And they stay laser focused for years, years and years and years. And some of them from the time they're tiny, tiny children up through their teen years and adult years and so forth. So staying laser focused and not getting distracted or letting ourselves get distracted by kind of regular life, or things that can come up in life, and instead keeping our eye on the prize, right, on what we actually want, and not letting any of the worldly things that come up, just part of what we might call normal life, get us off track. And remember that there's a 3-step way of getting what you want, and that's asking for what you want. Ask, believe, and receive. So let's break those down. Asking for what you want. Asking as a form of prayer, or asking the universe, or putting it out there, writing it down as a goal. These are all ways to ask for what you want, and share out loud with other people what you want. And then believe. Believe is step 2, and that means believing it's actually possible. So if we don't believe it's possible, we're not going to get it. We will not get it. So you've got to believe you can actually do it. Those Olympians had to believe at some level that they were capable of getting to the Olympics or getting a medal to keep them going, to sustain them, even if they didn't know exactly how that would all come about. And then step 3, after asking and believing, is receiving. So letting the good or the gold come into your life, whatever that is, allowing it to happen. Now, part of allowing it to happen is recognizing that this is something you may not have heard before, but you can know what you want, but not necessarily how it's going to show up, right? What you want, but not knowing exactly how it's going to show up. So, but being open to receive it anyway. Okay, so one of the things that people often do when they're setting goals or going for what they want in their lives is they think they have to know step by step by step by step how that's going to happen. And when they get to a point where they're at a step and they don't know what's next, they're not sure what to do next, then they think it's not possible anymore. That breaks them down. It stops them. It often halts people. And what the research says for us to keep in mind is, and what champions have to keep in mind, is that we don't necessarily know how something's going to look, how the process is going to look, but it doesn't mean it's not happening. It's not evolving. Okay, so as long as you keep your eyes on what you want, the how will show itself if you have faith and you keep open. Okay, so here's more how to do that. One of the ways is to constantly visualize what you want. Like a couple of years ago, I was traveling around the country looking for the next community I wanted to live in. I knew I was going to leave the community I had lived in, and I didn't know if I was going to go to an entirely other area of the United States or what, but I had a list of criteria in a community in which I wanted to live. And so I visualized myself in that kind of a community, kind of the size of the community I was looking for, some of the characteristics I wanted. I wanted a lot of outdoor life. I wanted a lot of parks and trails. I wanted a body of water near me. The larger, the better. I wanted a very a community that was about a mid-sized university town. One that had lots of different sports and arts and cultural experiences, kind of something for everybody, kind of a community. And I had all those in my mind. Now, I didn't know how I was gonna know what community to live in for sure, or what that was all gonna look like. But I did know what I wanted in a community in general. I had characteristics and I visualized myself. So I literally saw myself in my mind. I saw a picture of myself in a community like this and felt the feelings of what it would feel like to be in a community like that. And so that's what I suggest you do. And what I know the champions do is they visualize their races or their their races or their competitions, whatever. They visualize them in their mind. They literally do this. Our U.S. Olympic athletes do this. I bet all of them do around the world that have heard of this anyway. But they use visualization, and actually there was an experiment years ago where they hooked up like biofeedback equipment on Olympic athletes and had them run their races in their minds only, just in their minds. They were sitting stationary, but running the races in their minds. So they were visualizing the whole race from start to finish. And they had these things on them to measure their body, what was happening with their bodies. And you know what? Their brain and their body didn't know any different from actually running the race and just running it in their minds, because the blood pressure went up, they sweat, all their body measurements that they would have running, they had while sitting there visualizing it. So that teaches us that the brain thinks something's actually happening if we get really good at visualizing it. And so then the brain is going to help you to actually create it out there beyond the visualization, just like the Olympians recreate it when they're actually running the race. Okay, so that's a way to give yourself a greater chance of creating, getting the gold that you want in your life, is to use visualization, see it actually happening in your mind, as much detail as you can give it, and feel the feelings of it happening in your life. Feel how it would feel. And like Kate Winslet, when she got an Oscar for, I can't remember which movie she got the Oscar for, but she said when she was a little girl, she held a shampoo bottle in her hand and accepted an Oscar as a little girl. So she had a vision for her life of being an actress and winning an Oscar. And then it happened. So she visualized it first, and then her brain helped her create that later in her life. And that's what we can do to go for whatever it is that we want. Okay, what else? So use your brain, right? Use your brain, because when your brain knows what you want, it will help you find the how. It will give you ideas. It will show you things. It will bring you opportunities. And how do you know what hows to respond to? Well, that's when you need to use your intuition. That sixth sense. You know, we talk about the five senses all the time in life. We're raised as kids to learn these, that we can hear and we can smell and taste and see and all those things and touch. But one thing we're often not taught is our sixth sense, which is our intuition. And that's that kind of inner knowing, that aha. Some people call it the still small voice. Some people call it the Holy Spirit and give it a religious, kind of label. Some people say it's our souls talking to us. Some just say it's an inner knowing. It doesn't really matter what you call it, but it's that feeling you get, that gut feeling that tells you, oh, yes, I need to do this now. Or, ew, I need to stay away from that, right? It's that other voice. And we've all got it. It's just whether we use it or not. That's the key. Everybody's got it, but whether we use it or not is the key. So when you're going for the gold in your life and you want to have a mindset like a champion, you definitely want to use your sixth sense. You want to use everything you've got. And so your brain, when it knows what you want, is going to give you guidance. It's going to tell you the next step. It's going to show you the how, step by step by step, to get what you want. And so you want to be very open to receive that information that will lead you forward to get what you want. Okay, is there anything else that I really, really, really wanted to say? Oh, here's another champion mindset. There are no failures. There's no such thing as failure, right? There's just constant feedback you're getting, okay? Now, Wayne Dyer taught this for sure. Somebody else may have too, or maybe many somebodies. But Wayne Dyer taught this. I've read this in one of his books, where there is no such thing as failure. So in other words, reframing that for yourself when you feel like you've hit a bump in the road or something didn't go well or you made a mistake, tell yourself instead that it's a feedback system. You're trying this and it either gets you the results you want or it doesn't. So then you try something else if it doesn't. And if it's working, then you keep going. We don't fix things that aren't broken. We keep going. And so look at it as feedback, not failure. What results are you getting or not with what you're attempting to do? And shift as necessary. Don't sit and go, oh, I made another mistake, and oh, I'm a failure, and oh, I'm terrible. No, don't tell that. That's not a champion mindset. A champion mindset is, okay, we tried that. This is the result we got, but we're going for this result over here. So let's take another route. Let's do something different. Let's set the bar higher so we can actually get there. And then the other thing is to remember that everything that goes on, if you can adopt this mindset, it'll really help, that everything that happens is for your greatest good, that the world is conspiring for you at all times. A lot of people think that everything's against them all the time, that the world is against them all the time, and that nothing's ever working out for them. And that is not a champion mindset, my friends. That's the opposite. So you want to shift that thinking if you lean in that direction, and say instead to yourself that the world is always in my favor. Everything is always working out for me. The world is always in my favor. It doesn't mean we like what happens sometimes. It doesn't mean that we even understand things that happen sometimes. But if we can adopt a belief that everything is always working out for us and that the world is on our side at all times, that will lead us to the gold as well. Okay, so those are some tips and tricks and ideas to help you go get the gold in your life in whatever areas you want it. And so I hope you have a great night, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.